Hi, dear friends, welcome to my channel. It's Akshadare by Devraj. Let me start today newspaper reading. And before going to start the newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel and like and comment. In the upcoming videos, I'm going to bring the very informative and very the skills videos which are very useful for everyone to like earn more in your home. So those are easily everyone can do if you are studied, if you are educated, if you are not educated, it doesn't matter. So just if you put your effort to make it work out, so you can easily earn at your home, so without any effort. So please subscribe the channel and like and comment for more videos related to health, education and competitive exams especially. Let me start today's newspaper reading. Yes, let's see what's in the front page. Department of Information and Public Relations. This Karnataka government has announced these five guarantees which were like given guarantee in the canvas before the election. It has made it possible now. It has the guarantees were made it possible from this month and from the next month. Uchita Prayana, Annabhagya Gruha, Jyoti Gruha, Lakshmi Yuvanidhi. So let's follow. Go to the next page and renovating for a green planet. Aligning living spaces with eco-friendly practices is not just a responsible choice, it's a way to honor the earth, says Amit Jain on the occasion of World Environment Day on June 5th. Building can be made sustainable by adopting topsoil preservation, using locally acquired materials, reusing waste materials like plastic and concrete, and using permeable materials for water conservation, efficient irrigation systems with reduced lawn space, storm water protection and rainwater management methods have proved successful. All water except that which comes into human contact can be recycled and used for flushing and gardening. Plumbing fittings can also help conserve water. Yes, there is a front page. OTT plays which was satellite band with 70 killed in Odisha train accident. More than 350 injured in accident involving two express and a goods train in Balasur. The accident, one of the worst in recent times, led to derailment of 17 coaches. People from villages nearby act as first responders assist in rescue operations. Five guarantees to be rolled out this year, starting with Shakti. As vigilantes thrive, couples try to survive. How groups target interfaith relationships. Mortens knocks out a third seat, Pegula. Residents in Whitefield spend 10,000 per month on water. Multiple apartments in the area are spending anywhere between 1 lakh and 1.2 lakh per month for water. Train accident, 994 reserved travelers are boarded from Bangalore. Power shutdown in parts of city on June 6th. Programs to mark World Bicycle Day today. Anganwadi workers in Karnataka facing a debate burden for 4 months. The Anganwadi workers have not been paid remuneration for 2 months and have expressed helplessness in providing eggs to beneficiaries. This is too bad. Women Writers Association president gets threat letter again. Note exchange gang arrested. The Education Plus career counseling from today. Sri Chandrasekhara Saraswati Vishwavidyalaya 130th Jayanti Mahotsava for Sri Mahaperiyava. Humble pranams to the lotus feet of Acharyas, the Mahaperiyava institutions over 30 years of excellence. Free 200 units per hour. Consumers provide clarity for the Kills twins. A middle-aged man allegedly killed his mentally challenged children by asphyxiating them in his car and admitted to the act after his arrest on Thursday. The incident happened on Wednesday near Chalangeri in Averi district. The accused Amar Kittur is from Davangere. He worked as a chemical engineer. His wife Jayalakshmi had gone to her native when he carried out the act. He reportedly took the twins in his car to the national highway toll gate near Chalagiri, where he killed the children. After his arrest on Thursday, he allegedly confessed before the police that he was fed up with the tantrum of his sons. Free bus travel for women, a mechanism for empowerment. Extend Yuvanidhi scheme for all unemployed youth. Education Career Counseling 2023 free career handbook entry free for all students. Five guarantees to cost fixed 60,000 crore annually. Gruhalakshmi scheme is estimated to cost around 39,000 crore. Guidelines for implementing schemes are expected to be released shortly, each of them to be launched at public functions. Bus travel free for my wife too, says CM. There is gap between promise and delivery, says opposition. Defer trial against Muruga Matshia till July 1st. High Court directs trial court. Four IS officers given concurrent charge. Five guarantees to be rolled out this year, starting with Shakti. Ankita Pushtaka Endowment Award, Governor Anmit Koppal University logo. Madras High Court confirms life sentence in Gokul Raj murder case. Justices MS Ramesh and Anand Venkatesh. This is a case which brings out the dark side of human behavior and focuses attention on the ugly facets of society, bigotry, and inhuman treatment of people belonging to marginalized sections. KSC Hall kicks up 10th Telangana Formation Day celebrations. Tusker attacks KSRTC bus near Gundia. 6 arrested for moral policing on Someshwara beach. Worker admits to setting train on fire. Indian Institute of Space has Science and Technology. Admission to undergraduate programs. A critical juncture in Manipur. Let me read this hard editorial page, guys. Good and bad. India needs to harness the benefits of AI while avoiding adverse effects. A critical juncture in Manipur. In a press statement issued on May 12th, 10th, Kuki-Jo legislators of the Manipur Assembly, 7 of whom belong to the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, called for a separate administration. They said that the government of Manipur tacitly supported the unabated violence by the majority Meiteis against the Chin, Kuki, Mizo, Jomi Hill tribals, which has already partitioned the state and affected a total separation from the state of Manipur. Not surprisingly, in response, a new valley-based Meitei community staged a rally in Taubhal on May 20, urging for protection of the state's territorial integrity. Of late, media and public debates have centered around the sacrosanctity and inviolability borders. The demands for a separate administration and for the protection of territorial integrity of Manipur override the differences within and across the segmented Kuki-Jo and Meitei societies. The road to a separate administration will naturally be a bumpy one, and despite the grandstanding of the Biren Singh-led BJP government and this position taken by Meitei's frontal organizations on the inviolability of borders, affecting a charge change of Manipur's border lies outside the exclusive preserve of the state. For it is Article 3 of the Constitution that gives a unilateral power to the center on a state's border change. A popular demand. The central question is how will this demand for a separate administration constitute a critical juncture in effecting or resisting border change? The answer is that this demand enjoys unprecedented popular support among the Kuki Joe groups. Earlier demands by tribal communities for a separate administration in the form of a union territory or a territorial council or the sixth schedule were what the report for the National Commission to review the working of the constitution constituted by the BJP led National Democratic Alliance government in 2000 called non-serious as they did not have popular support. Also, given dissension within and across different segments of Kuki Joe groups in the past, a sustained mobilization for a separate administration remained elusive. Now faced with a common antagonistic other whose position on this demand is not likely to change in the short term. Popular support for this edition of the demand for a separate administration is likely to be sustained and gain more political traction. Thus, this movement may well constitute a critical juncture in the demand by Kuki Joe groups for a separate administration. The extensive erasure of lives and land titles, destruction of property, and the unprecedented displacement of the population across the hills and the hill valley suggest that this Rubicon of living under one political roof has already been crossed. Has suspicion and distrust in Manipur run deep, returning to the status quo ante is now widely seen as amounting to a absence choice, given that the violence and the ethnic cleansing unleashed against both sides of the divide since May 3rd has resulted in complete democratic and geographical separation. To borrow from what W. Hal Angshing, the General Secretary of the Kuki People Alliance, told the why the demand for a separate administration has become a fait accompli. Shifting up constitutional gears. This may require a radical shifting up constitutional gears. Three possible constitutional architectures are plausible. The first is to grant a separate administration in the hill areas of Manipur for not only the Kuki Joes but also the Nagas. The roadblocks to this are the reluctance of some Naga groups to compromise on their expensive territorial project under the rubric of a Savin Nagalim and the staunch opposition by the state and Mighty's groups. The second is to grant a separate administration for the Kuki Joe in district where they are dominant and resolve the Nagas' demand in due course, invoking administrative convenience and economic viability. The two cardinal principles of state reorganization in India as counterpoints against this demand may not work in this case. This is because the institutional and administrative blueprints for this have already been laid down by the extant sub-state constitutional arrangements under the Manipur District of Council Act 1971, where the territorial boundaries of district councils broadly overlap with ethnic boundaries. In 2016, seven new districts were created out of the existing nine districts in Manipur, which further sharpened this overlap. Given that Pejhaul and Churachandpur, the two districts where the majority are Kuki Joe, sit on a rich natural gas belt, the Sam Arakan Basin. Effective exploration and harnessing of these resources may offset any argument about the economic non-viability of this demand for a separate administration. The Kuki Joe dominated districts have two important strategic gateways to Southeast Asia, Beiyang and Murray. This makes the demand for a separate administration a compelling economic proposition. The challenges to this blueprint are districts such as Chandel, Kamjong, and Tengnaupal, which are marked by a mixture of populations and have seen long-standing territorial disputes between two Kukis and the Nagas. However, this may not be unsurmountable if a combination territorial and non-territorial autonomy is crafted in the future. A third possibility is to maintain the status quo until way the territorial integrity of Manipur is secured. Given the increasingly hardened integrationist position taken by the state and frontal by these groups, so this may entail dissolution of extant sub-state constitutional asymmetrical arrangements under Article 371C. The district councils and tribal land rights. This will, of course, require not only amendment of the constitution but also a revisit to the normative and political foundations of Manipur. The position of the Kuki Jew groups to no longer accept the powerless sub-state constitutional asymmetrical arrangements or any political solution within the existing state of Manipur suggests that this impasse is likely to continue. This means Manipur will remain a deeply divided society if the experience of other such societies, including Belgium, Canada, the Netherlands, and Switzerland, are to be used as any guide. The holding together of a federal polity or polities requires genuine recognition and accommodation of territorially mobilized groups, not as a matter of strategic convenience of the majority, but as a matter of enduring value. The reluctance to do this and a lack of democracy and federalism in East Asian states in the 1990s had led to state breakups and which Manipur may not like to emulate. The jury is out. The debates to protect the territorial integrity of Manipuris are likely to lead to spawn a competing constellation of agendas, ideas, and interests without any immediate resolution. These may align in complex ways to affect or resist change in the state's border. This is likely to resuscitate resuscitate the point that defenders of the rights of states and democracy, such as Katie Shaw, raised during the Constituent Assembly debates against Article 3, which beyond Ambedkar envisaged as a flexible and democratic constitutional provision. Shaw argued that to place power and authority in the center to effect a change of state boundaries without requiring the consent of the said states would amount to the serious prejudice not only of the units but even of the very idea of democracy. In their overweening ambition to protect the rights of states and democracy, Shaw and others forgot what K. Santhanam, another influential member, cautioned that the mandating consent of the states would leverage absolute autocracy of the majority in every province and state. When they vote down a minority's demand for merge with an adjacent state or for permission of a separate state of the rule. This debate continues to remain unresolved. The jury is out on whether the constellation of agendas, ideas, and interests of multiple actors across India's multi-level political polity and processes aligned to foster institutions which protect the absolute autocracy of the majority or promote and accommodate the rights of territorially mobilized minority groups within and across Indian states. This is the last. This is the editorial page, guys, and let me read the next. International trade has a carbon problem. The European Union key climate law, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, has spooked India. New Delhi fears that CBAM will cripple the export of its carbon intensive products to the EU. While India's exports may be limited to aluminium, iron, and steel and affect only 1.8% of its total exports to the EU. India has reportedly decreed CBAM as being protectionist and discriminatory. There is also talk of challenging the CBAM at World Trade Organization dispute and state settlement body. This debate brings to the forefront the interlinkages between trade and the environment. While the international trade regime allows countries to adopt unilateral measures for safeguarding the environment, environmental protection should not become a smoke screen for trade protectionism. The CBAM needs to be reviewed from this standpoint. About CBAM. In 2005, the EU adopted an important climate change policy known as emissions trading system. Now it's in its fourth stage. The ETS is a market-based mechanism that aims at reducing greenhouse gas emissions by allowing bodies emitting GHG to buy and sell these emissions amongst themselves. However, the EU concern is that while it has a mechanism for its domestic industries, emissions embedded in product imported from other countries may not be priced in a similar way due to a lack of stringent policies or due to less stringent policies in those countries. This, the EU worries, would put its industries at a disadvantage. To tackle these, the impacted industries in the EU had so far been receiving free allowances or permits under the ETS. Furthermore, the EU also apprehends the phenomenon of carbon leakage that is due to the application of ETS. European firms operating in carbon intensive sectors might possibly ship to those countries that have less stringent GHG emission norms. CBAM is aimed at addressing this quagmire and thus leveling the playing field for the EU industries under the CBAM. Imports of certain carbon intensive products, namely cement, iron and steel, electricity, fertilizers, aluminium, and hydrogen, will have to bear the same economic cost borne by EU producers under the ETS. The price to be paid will be linked to the weekly average of the emissions priced under the ETS. However, where a carbon price has been explicitly paid for the imported products in their country of origin, a reduction can be claimed. WTO consistency. A cornerstone principle of WTO law is non-discrimination. Thus, countries are required to accord equal treatment to like products respective of their country of origin, most favored nation treatment, and to treat foreign-made like products as they treat domestic ones. National treatment principle. While the CBAM's design is origin neutral in appearance, it may, in its application, discriminate between goods from different countries on account of an inadequate carbon pricing policy or due to onerous reporting requirements that importers would be subject to. A key consideration in all this may be whether the carbon intensive products to which the CBAM applies are like, while steel products may appear similar, the process by which electric arc furnaces produce steel is less carbon intensive than the steel produced in blast furnaces. For instance, being products that are not like, the rules and non-discrimination would have little application in such a case. Accordingly, the debates on CBAM reignites a long-standing debate in international trade law circles. Must processes and production methods be relevant for comparing products? Traditionally, the answer to that in WTO jurisprudence has been no. And on that account, as commentators have noted, the CBAM violates the WTO law for discriminating between EU and foreign products covered by CBAM based on the embedded emissions. However, even if the EU's ICBAM is discriminatory, there could be a claim for justifying it under the general exceptions clause given in Article 2 of the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Under Article 20, measures taken by countries that otherwise violate GATT obligations are permitted if first they fall under one of the listed policy grounds, and second if they satisfy the requirements of the introductory clause of Article 20, known as the CHOPU. One of the listed policy grounds in Article 20 is the conservation of exhaustible natural resources. CBAM would fall under this category. However, it is doubtful if it would satisfy the CHOPU, which inter alia requires that countries do not apply measures in a manner that results in arbitrary and justice are unjustifiable discrimination between countries where the same conditions prevail. As commentators argue that CBAM only considers explicit carbon prices, not implicit costs. Non-price based costs body byproducts are originating in certain countries. Particularly, it arbitrarily or unjustifiably discriminates between countries where the same environment conditions exist. Finally, CBAM is also an important issue in the ongoing India-EU free-trade agreement negotiations. India should work with the EU to secure against CBAM and ensure smooth onboarding for Indian exporters to maximize the benefits of a bilateral deal, even as the possibility of a WTO challenge remains open. This is about the international law and business. Let me go to the next page and let me go to the next page. Reset time. The current revenue trajectory presents an opportunity to fix GST flaws. The vigilante groups thrive, couples try to survive. Women and men belonging to different faiths battle threats, harassment, and even violence just to get married and live together. Shita Mishra and Syed Muhammad report on the systematic targeting by members of Hindu and Muslim organizations who are emboldened by the anonymity of social media. The anonymity of social media. We got to know about Sumati and Saad Halvi's affair in 2017 before he could make a convert to Islam. We made him change religion. Government wants to make sedition law more draconian. Congress over 140 to 140 weapons surrendered in violence at Manipur. Modi invited to address joint session of US Congress. 70 killed in train accident in Odisha. His bankruptcy code a tool for organized loot asks Congress. Indian democracy is a global good. He says collapse will impact the world, says Rahul Gandhi. Begin talks with wrestlers are face hesitation from June 9, one COP leaders. Vaishnav it's out at Rajan's skepticism over India's semiconductors ambitions. Law Commissions meets Uttarakhand UCC team. NDRF teams rush to crash site. Many trains cancelled. It's too bad, yeah. An injured passengers being admitted to a hospital in Balasore district of Odisha after the train mishap involving a Coromandel Express on Friday. Rescue teams are equipped with stretchers, gas and plasma cutters, first aid kits, and other equipment besides sniffer dogs. Heavy lift cranes are being brought in by Odisha government. It's too very bad incident. Frontline has a robust presence and extraordinarily loyal audience. Soren offers support to AAP in Delhi services. Now, restore democratic rights in J&K before elections are held, says Mahbuba Mufti. 26 by 11 attack accused Rana pleads against extradition. Mural in new parliament shows Ashoka Empire government. MEA requests China to facilitate a presence of Indian journalists. Only one accredited Indian reporter remains in China. New Delhi flags restrictions faced by journalists in getting access and traveling locally. The Indian side supports and facilitates foreign journalists in India. At the same time, there should be no deviations from a normal journalistic behavior and activities. OTT players seek a satellite bandwidth for better streaming. India currently you only uses satellite broadband as backhaul in places like Lakshadweep. Navy chief meets Saudi cadets undergoing training. India remains committed to ensure return of Ariha Shah to our parents, stresses government. New guidelines for deemed universities are light but tight, says UGC chairman. Higher education institutions that are less than 20 years old will also be eligible to apply. CBI registered 6,525 to 404 crore loan fraud case against firm. Militant killed in a joint operation in J&K Rajouri. Karma Sumters and no Ukraine proves without Russian pullback. Blinken. Istanbul students protest despite ban after Erdogan win in election. Two killed by shelling in Russia border region has under its plea. Palestinian toddler critically wounded in West Bank firing. Pakistan to engage in border trade with Afghanistan, Iran, and Russia. U.S. Howard's first ever depart with 11th hour debate deal. Leading Park liar taken by armed men. Hired AI's insurance push in rural areas with Bima Wahak. Publishes draft guidelines on the dedicated distribution channel, primarily comprising women to cater to insurance needs in villages. Insurers could tailor plans to meet financial protection needs. Tata Motors unveils upgraded Nexon EV Sport utility vehicle. SBI Live to take over Shahara Insurance Unit. RBI issues dropped on cybersecurity for PSOs. Poma Pharmexil talks tough over eye drops. Mining major NMDC logs record output sales in May. Indigo to fly to Baku, Tbilisi, Nairobi in international push. India needs new skill sets to boost cybersecurity. Pope and Duckett send the Irish bowlers on a elite leather hunt. Former skipper Hooper joins West Indies coaching team. Nuggets dominate Heat in the opening game of the NBA Finals. Jadran stars in Afghanistan 6-wicket victory over Sri Lanka. Martins puts paid to Pegula aspirations. Harmanpreet scores twice. India thrashes Belgium. Members of 1983 WC winning team supports Leicester's. Indian stars would look to cash in on their IPL form in the longest format. Ashwin may miss out on a spot in the playing 11. U Mumbai snaps up multiple African champion Quadri. The world number 16 will team up with Mauma and Dia Chithale in season 4. Experienced German Duda to partner Sharad Kamal at Chennai Lions. Puneri Paltan opts for Egypt Safsar. We deserve to win, but there is a lot of work to do with them. Anjum Chopra scholarship for 4 women cricketers. Ashwa Magadira primary to score. Samath and Kavirappa excel has Karnataka crushes Namibia. Gukesh outwits Mamed Javro moves to 4th. Mahindra Racing hopes to get back to scoring points. Exciting race is expected as an Iron MRC opener gets underway today. RRP PPL are planning to have at least 5 street circuits in India by 2025, says Akhil. Ignorance is bliss if you live in a cave. India chases elusive glory in Oval Shadow Showdown. The World Chess Championship final offers Rohit Sharma's team the opportunity to win its first ICC title since 2013, but it is missing key match winners and faces a formidable Australian side. Historical, the Oval pitch has been a very good batting wicket. It is generally offered something for the fast bowlers on day one, not a lot, but if it starts a little bit dry, it can turn a lot. By the time of the Olympics come, I will have grown enough to be champion. Having won a bronze in the World Boxing Championships, Deepak Boria says he is working to expand his arsenal so he can fulfill his dream of standing on the top step of the podium in Paris. Since I have faced tough times and every sports person goes through such times, I know it will pass. Positive thinking comes to me naturally. This is about the last page, guys, and this is no this in this every Saturday there is no text and context page uh, in the page in the paper. So I hope you guys enjoyed the reading, and please read the newspaper at least 40 minutes to 2 hours to make you better in communication. And see you in the upcoming videos with very informative and skills related to education and competitive exams. So have a great day, have a great weekend, have a great see you in the upcoming videos. Bye bye, take care.